The invisible wind of winter won't be ignored as it bites through clothing and stings exposed skin. Yet the only way to judge the true nature of the wind is through the movement it gives to other objects. Strange stuff is wind, born of the gravitational forces turning the earth and dragging our envelope of atmosphere relentlessly around and around. We can see where it is, bending trees, vibrating leaves, and setting water rocking, but we can rarely see where it's been, as it bends, not breaks, the objects in its path. Until, of course, it becomes a gale. Spend a little time observing the effects of a winter wind, as we did in Trentham's restored gardens, and you begin to see why this Coriolis of created force is a metaphor for the other emotional forces in our lives. As usual, Shakespeare captured the parallels when he wrote, "Blow, blow, thou winter wind, thou art not so unkind as man's ingratitude. Thy tooth is not so keen, because thou art not seen, although thy breath be rude. Freeze, freeze, thou bitter sky, that dost not bite so nigh as benefits forgot. Though thou the waters warp, thy sting is not so sharp, as friend remembered not." And a wind is never just a wind anyway. It might be a light breath of air, or a current, or a gust. It could be a draught indoors, or a violent downdraft that sinks an aircraft thousands of feet high in the sky. Perhaps a flurry or a puff, short-lived and gone as soon as felt. A zephyr, perhaps. Winter winds huff and puff constantly change as they lift the last leaves of autumn and move them a few feet onwards before coming to a rest, waiting for the next movement of the natural symphony. And the winds of February rock the biggest trees, and their roots grip the earth more firmly as a result. The constant movement surrounds as we progress through a wooded landscape, a susurration of creaking, rustling branches that accompanies the rising and falling sound of the breeze itself. Where there is water, another section joins nature's orchestra as the wind attacks moving water, scattering it this way and that, sometimes falling away to allow the flow to hold its natural course, sometimes seizing it brutally and forcing it to follow the directions of the wind gods. She, perhaps, for a Celt, or Aeolus for a Roman, or Kiri for our Norse ancestors. And where the water is large and level on the earth, it still can't escape the flowing, invisible wind which causes the brittle rustling of dried reeds, the moving wavelets running before the wind and breaking on the shore, while the fish stay deep and the birds bob on the ever-moving surface. The ever-changing, ever-shifting wind goes unconsidered inside our double-glazed, insulated homes and is ignored as the radio drowns out the road noise in our vehicles. But outside, away from the roar of civilization, it comes into its own once more, a primal force from our collective past, a capricious friend or foe, and the background music of nature, constant, sometimes shouting, sometimes whispering, but always talking to us.